Here's Carol Burnett. That was a rousing welcome. They're going to start in again. Young man, come here. Come on.
Scott, thank you. This kitty doesn't say meow as other kitties do because it is a witch's cat and all it says is boo.
Cal, do you remember any of those stories you used to tell about being a teenager?
Oh, yeah, well.
Remember Julianne told you the story that the time that she finally was asked by the boy in school for a date? And she was so excited, and they went to the movies,
yeah.
And he helped her off with her coat, and she was so thrilled, but she forgot that she had a dickie on the dickie, and everything came off.
Well, I guess the worst well, I've got two of them. One, see, I was this tall, which is 5'7", when I was 11. You know, and thank goodness I never grew anymore, but it was awful when I was that age. And I had crushes, and I looked like a young John Carradine in a dress. I was very, very skinny and long, skinny hair, and still the big teeth and the whole. I was pretty awful. And there was a boy I absolutely adored. Now I'm 14. Say, we were in junior high school together, and his name was Tommy Tracy. And if you're watching, Tommy, hi. And, I loved him, and I always dreamed that someday we'd get married, and I'd have 2 children, and I'd name them Stacy and Dick.
Stacy Tracy?
And Dick Tracy. But I did love him, and he was very important in school, and all the girls had crushes on Tommy Tracy, you know, and so he just kind of knew me to say hi to. And I was a big movie buff in those days. I'd go to 3 movies a week if I could, but I'd beat the 1 o'clock prices, you know, and I'd get in for 25 cents before 1. So I went to this movie one day in Hollywood, and I had on one of my dad's old shirts, you know, sloppy Joe look that the kids had then, and Levi's and an old pair of sneakers, this long stringy hair. And I left the movie, and I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard going home. And I had bought a Forever Yours candy bar. And it was a hot, yeah, it's like a Milky Way, you know, and it was a hot day, and it was kind of melting on my hand, and I had it, how I missed my mouth, I don't know. Kind of all over, and I really looked gross, you know, just with the stringy hair. I'm munching on this hot, gooey chocolate Milky, Forever Yours. And I'm looking in the windows and walking, and I see Tommy Tracy coming up the street. You know how I'm like this. And he's flanked on either side by Bob Burlando and Bob Beamish. Now, they're the 3 dolls of LeConte Junior High School that all the girls die over. And I thought, oh, well, they see me, and I can't avoid them, and I look so awful, and my heart's going like this. And well, what am I going to say? I look so terrible, and I'm trying to wipe this Forever Yours off my face, and they're coming closer, and I thought, well, I've got to be clever. I have to say something that's going to be funny or cuter, you know, so they won't notice how I look. And they're getting closer and closer, and I'm getting more and more frightened and looking yucky. And they come out and they say, hi, Carol. And I said, check. To this day, I don't know why I said that. You know, it's just absolutely. And they just kind of, you know, and they walked on. It was the dumbest remark ever made.
Check.
And you feel like a real idiot, you know, when you try to say something. And that came out. The only other thing about, I had a rash on my leg. And,
Check.
about the same. I was 13 or 14, and it kept itching, and I couldn't get rid of it, you know. And my grandmother finally said, well, we ought to send you to a skin specialist, you know, look at it, and all, because it was bothering. It was a little round thing, and I kept scratching it. So she sent me to this doctor, and he looked like Dick Chamberlain. You know, he was a little older, and
I hope he's a better doctor.
At that point, I didn't care. And, well, I fell in love with him. And he said, let's see that little leg, you know. He looked at it, and he gave me a cream to put on it, and then he would give me some treatments on it, heat treatments. Well, I didn't want it to get well because I wanted to keep going back to sleep. So I kept scratching. So finally, this was when penicillin first came out, and they'd give you penicillin for short eyelashes. Penicillin. And I didn't know what a penicillin shot was. Now, bear in mind, I'm like 13, and he's just so handsome and adorable and nice. And he said, well, I think I'm going to give you a penicillin shot and see what that does, you know. So I rolled up my sleeve, and he said, no, that's not where we give you the penicillin shot. Well, he gave me the shot, and I was so embarrassed because I loved him, you know. I really wanted to die, and I thought, well, no, I'm going to be very grown up and mature about this and kind of off the cuff. And I got up off the table and adjusted myself, and I said, well, Doc, see you next Saturday. And I opened a door and walked right into a closet.